Okay, so here we go with order of operations. Today we're dealing with the first day of what's going to be 3 days, alright, of order of operations. So it's a big deal. We want to make sure we're really good at this. Unit 1, Lesson 7. Alright, your objective is, when you're done watching this, you should be able to say, yes, I can follow the rules for simplifying numeric expressions. Okay, a couple key terms. First of all, expression, again, is a mathematical statement without an equal sign. Okay, when it doesn't have an equal sign, these are the ones that we simplify. Okay, when we look at the next one, it says equation. Okay, that's a mathematical sentence with an equal sign. When we have problems like this, we solve. Okay, make sure you include those two words with your notes as you copy this stuff down, because if you don't have these two things here, you're not getting credit for your homework. Alright, up next, order of operations. Okay, order of operations, alright, is a way of telling us how to simplify numeric expressions. Alright, so it's ordered like this. We use the word PEMDAS. P for parentheses, E, M and D, A and S. Okay, so normally we'll just write it out like this, but sometimes this is misleading because M doesn't always come before D and A does not always come before S. So what we're going to do is, number 1, we're going to look for parentheses. Okay, notice it says parentheses are the most important, do them first. Number 2 is exponents. Number 3 is multiplication and division, because they are equally as important. So we do them from left to right. Alright, big important idea there. Got to do those from left to right. Alright, and then the fourth order of importance here is addition and subtraction. Again, notice they are equally as important, and because they're equally as important, we're going to do those from left to right. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first set of examples that we have. Alright, in this problem, I see that I'm adding two numbers and I'm multiplying two numbers. Okay, if you look at the order of importance, multiplication is more important than addition, so I'm going to do this first. Alright, then I'm going to drop down the remaining part of the problem. After that, all I have now is addition, so I can add those together, and my answer is 37. Okay, looking at example 2. Alright, I have subtraction and I have addition. Subtraction and addition are equally as important, so we're going to do those from left to right. So on the left is subtraction, alright, which means subtraction comes first. That's going to be 1. Again, I'm going to drop down the piece I haven't used yet. Alright, and the final answer is 4. Okay, I want to point out a couple things that I'm doing here. Number 1, alright, and I understand maybe these first couple you might be able to do in your head, but we're going to have problems that require a lot of steps coming up here. So you want to be able to highlight what you're doing, and I'm doing that simply by underlining, and then remember to drop down the rest of the problem. Okay, we got to get out of the habit of writing equal signs, right? Because it's not an equation. So we're not going to just randomly throw in equal signs. We're just going to progress our work downward. Okay, example 3. I see division, and then between the 3 and 4, remember, if there's no sign, that's really multiplication. Okay, so multiplication and division are equally as important, so I'm going to do those from left to right, which means I'm going to start with division in this case. Alright, and that's 4. Then again, I'm going to drop down the remaining piece, and then I'll go ahead and do that to get 16. Okay. Alright, just a couple more examples here. Alright, we got a total of 6 examples for today. Alright, let's take a look at number 4. Okay, lot going on in number 4. I have multiplication, addition, multiplication, subtraction, and multiplication. Alright, multiplication is more important than addition and subtraction, so I'm not going to worry about those right now. I'm just going to go ahead and do my multiplication. Alright, they're all separated by pluses and minuses, which means I could do them all at the same time. Okay, if they were not separated by plus and minus signs, like for example, problem number 3, you have to do them one at a time. Right? Plus signs and minus signs are breaks, natural breaks, where you could kind of do multiple things at one time. Okay, so now I have my addition and subtraction left over, and we're going to work those from left to right. So we're going to take care of that first. That's 38. I'm going to drop the remaining piece down, minus 36. Okay, so and then we have simple subtraction left over, and our final answer is 2. Okay, so now number 5, I have addition, subtraction, addition, subtraction, addition. These are equally as important. Okay, so I have to work them from left to right. So that's 15, and I'm going to drop everything down. Working from left to right again, that's 13, and again I'm going to drop everything else down. Okay, once again working from left to right, there's 17, and drop everything else down. Okay, when you make shortcuts with these, you tend to make mistakes, so it's usually best just to go in order. Alright, we get 12 here. And again, notice I'm taking my time. I'm going to keep dropping that 8 down, alright, until I finally get to use it, like right now. Okay, so again, just worked left to right there. Alright, now there's another way you could do this, but it does tend to be confusing to some people. Alright, and what you could do is set this up as leave, change, change. And then you could do all your positives together and all your negatives together. Alright, and then get a final answer. Okay, and that would look something like this. I'm not going to do it all the way, but we would do this. Change that to plus negative 2. Change that to plus negative 5. Alright, and then we would say, okay, positive, 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 positive. Add those together. And then we would say negative, negative, add those together, and then do a final calculation. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the last example. Alright, we have all 4 operations involved now. Subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division. Okay? Keep in mind, multiplication and division are more important than addition and subtraction. So we are going to begin with multiplication and division from left to right. Alright, so all I could do right now is that right there, which is 18. Everything else I'm going to drop down. Untouched. Alright, next up is division, and then again everything else I drop down to remain untouched. Now right now I'm not really talking about signs yet. We'll get to that more tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay, so it is important to keep in mind that while this does say plus, it does also mean that that's positive. Just in case this is negative, we can follow sign rules and change signs. But again, that's coming up in a later lesson. Okay, now at this point, I have addition and subtraction. Alright, they're equally as important, so I work left to right. Okay, and then I'm going to drop down the other pieces. That's 6 here. And then finally, I put that together to get 13. Okay, so quick recap again, order of operations. Parentheses are the most important. We didn't see that in today's examples. Neither did we see exponents. Okay, both of those will be coming up in the next 2 days' lessons. All we looked at today was multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction. Okay, these are the bottom 2. All right, in terms of what we do, they are equally as important with multiplication and division. All right, multiplication and division comes before addition and subtraction. Okay, but notice again the left to right on both of those. All right, remember, there's one last thing you have to do. Alright, is you have to tell me what you can do after seeing this video. Okay, you don't have to write out the whole statement or this whole thing, but you should start by saying, I can, blah, 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 whatever you could do. If you're lost or confused, then you do this stuff here. I still don't know how to follow the order of operations. Okay, and if you happen to be one of these people, alright, then you should tell me something like this down here. I'm going to rewatch this video. I'm going to ask your friend. I'm going to ask some questions in class, whatever. If you do not do this, you do not get credit for your homework. All right? Don't lose points just because you're not doing this. All right? See you in class tomorrow.